literally still have sleep lines on my face.
Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is you're watching this video. Thank you so much and welcome to my channel. So today we are gonna do a kind of two-in-one video, basically doing a first impression on some BH Cosmetics products, on Juno and Company brushes and sponges. So we're gonna kind of test those out today. So there's several first impressions in this video. I also am going over things I have been trying in 2019 that I have been loving, and some that I haven't been loving so much. So we'll go over several things in this video, but basically it's a first impression and things I've been loving thus far this year of 2019, or maybe not loving so much.
Without further ado, let's jump right to it. Thanks, guys.
So because the rule is for when you're trying something for the first time, you want to probably do shadows first if you haven't tried them, because you don't know how much fallout they're gonna have and you don't want to ruin the rest of your makeup. If you are like me and you have very, very dry skin, putting a bunch of powder on your face and then sweeping it off later does not work. Anyhow, the palette I'm gonna open right now is this BH Cosmetics Ultimate Matte 42 Color Shadow Palette. So this is what it looks like. So basically what I did at the beginning of the year, I ordered a bunch of BH Cosmetic stuff and a bunch of E.L.F stuff. We'll get into that as well. Because when I did my affordable versus expensive makeup, I realized I really loved that BH Cosmetic palette, the way it blended and all of that. So I really just wanted to try another palette of theirs. So I actually ordered two of them. One I've already played with one time. Not enough to get a full gauge as if I love it or hate it, but I really, really wanted to open this one up and try it, so that is what we're doing today. I have swatched some of the colors, full disclosure, and I actually think my friend Cindy used this the other night when she was here. I think it was this palette, may have been the other one. But anyway, but I have not used it. So this is the palette. It's got a bunch of colors. It looks so pretty. I just felt like it was something in the realm of warm enough for me to use all the time, but different enough where it wasn't like every single palette I already own. So we are gonna dig into this palette and see how it functions. And we are going to use these brushes from Juno and Company. They are the come out with that microfiber sponge, which I did want to try when it came out, and I did get my hands on it more or less recently, but I have not tried it. So that's another new thing we're gonna be trying. We're gonna do my foundation with this microfiber Juno and Company sponge. So I don't know if I'm gonna be able to create a whole look with this, but I'm going to try, and if I have to, I will substitute brushes and do what I gotta do. Ooh, I kinda like them. They look like chopsticks, That's really interesting. Cool. These two aren't gonna be fantastic. I don't usually like this type of a brush, but this could be good for like inner corner highlight, just to like, boop. Obviously this could be good if I want to, it's too thick for eyeliner or eyebrows in my opinion, but maybe we could find some use for it. And these two are really gonna be the ones I use, and more than likely I'm gonna need to use more than these two brushes. So we shall see.
Alright, let's zoom in. You already zoomed it.
Y'all know what I'm gonna dip into first. I'm gonna go right here into this vanilla colored shade. Put that all over the brush. And I'm gonna use this to cover my lid. I just realized I was about to do this without prepping my lid.
Rewind.
Okay, so it's recommending that for dry product, you use it dry, and for wet product, you use it wet. So like liquid foundations, concealers, I think that's what it's trying to tell me. Sponge is wet. I'm gonna go ahead and just throw this Revolution Conceal and Define Concealer to prep my eyelids. All right, so the sponge actually feels pretty amazing. It's so soft. I'll check this out in a mirror in 1 second to see if it actually did a good job like patting this in, but it feels really good. yeah, I like it. Okay. Brush has product, so I'm just gonna go put this on my lid. The only thing I'll say is I had to dip into the shadow a couple times, but I think that's because the brush is really stiff and I didn't feel like it was spreading it well enough. But I think that's more of the brush than the shadow. Actually, I know it's more of the brush. But, I mean, it's just a base, but it's fine. It looks good. So this is a little tapered blending brush. I'm gonna use this to grab my first transition shade. All right, I'm gonna go right into this color right here. It's kind of a peach color. We'll start there. I'm very attracted to this right here, so that's probably where we're gonna go next, but we'll start with this peach tone for a transition. And since we're on eyeshadows, let's talk about products I have been loving in 2019 so far. So back at the end of last year, I bought the Huda palette, the nudes, and it was kind of like a pink purplish palette. I'll show it to you guys right now. The palette here is beautiful. I have now used it several times, and every time it does not disappoint. So I think I'm in a couple of tutorials with it, just to show you guys on camera how beautiful the palette is, and also the versatility of it. I haven't tried too many looks, but I want to challenge myself, so maybe we'll do that together. Jumping back to what I'm doing, this transition shade is beautiful. This peach color is amazing. I kind of love it. It's the very creamsicle-y, and I think it's coming on very nicely. I dipped in one more time after the original time and grabbed a little bit more product. But I really, really like it so far.
Sorry, you can so see my sleep lines, but I really just had to film because
I went ahead and did the other eye off camera. I just want to save you guys time. Still like it, nothing's changed. So grabbing that same brush, it's the same one I did the transition shade on, I'm gonna go ahead and layer up a color underneath and more precisely, but with the same brush. I'm gonna go right here into this color here. As you can see, I don't know, right here, you see all that kickback? So the colors do have a lot of kickback coming off of them, but that doesn't mean much. I think the shadows with the most kickback I've ever seen in my life are the Anastasia shadows, and those work wonderfully, so just, I'll take it as a good, oh, look at the brightness, holy. And I'm just gonna try to sweep it right into the crease. I feel like this looks so creepy going so slow. I am really liking the formula of the shadows I've tried in this palette thus far. Absolutely loving the pigmentation on these shadows. Like, it's so pretty. So pretty. Owie. All right, so moving on. I'm gonna go back to this flat brush here, and I'm going to get that mustard shade above that more orange shade. So I'm gonna dip right here. I'm just gonna pat this on the lid. This color is like probably the truest mustard color I've tried in a palette ever. And literally that was one application. I feel like if I piled it on more, I could get it even like more vibrant, but on one application that worked fabulous. These are honestly performing like high-end shadows. The pigment is crazy good. I need to blend this out, blow it out, work on the blending a little bit more. So I'm gonna go off camera to do that since this is not a tutorial, and we'll get right back and I'll give you my final thoughts. And then we're gonna move on to some fun face stuff, and we'll talk about 2019 face products that I've been loving lately. Or maybe not loving, we'll see. Shadows ended up blending really nicely. Thing I did notice, and I didn't happen to this eye, but it happened to this eye, is when I added, because I hadn't put my sunscreen on, when I added my sunscreen, I must have maybe like gotten it too close to that eye, so some of the shadows kind of peeled off, and I tried to re-blend it out and it didn't blend as nicely this time, but that could have been totally the sunscreen's fault. So now this side isn't as vibrant as this side, and I tried to layer it a couple times and it's just, I felt like I was gonna ruin it, so I just stopped. So that's the only thing that's like a little off right now, and I'm not 100% sure if it was my fault, the whole sunscreen too close to the lid, getting on the brush, I don't know. So I will continue to play with these, and of course I'll update you guys in other videos if I'm still loving this palette as I continue to do more looks with it. But so far, first impression right now is fantastic. I really, really like it. The colors are vibrant, it's easy to blend, it performs like a high-end palette, and I really am into it. Let's move on to the face. So first, let me just tell you some things I've been trying lately, and then we'll get to the first impression. I had ordered a bunch of things from E.L.F, and I ordered a couple foundations, mostly because I didn't know what color I would be. I ordered a concealer. This concealer is really good. This one is medium beige, and it's a very good concealer shade. I just wish it was a little bit more brightening, so I think I'm gonna go look for medium. I heard there was like a medium sand, so I think I'm gonna go look for that one because that one has more of a yellow base, so that way it can brighten more, and maybe mixing them together would be the perfect concealer shade. But as for how this concealer works, this is their 16-hour Camo concealer. It is absolutely fantastic, phenomenal. Like, this might replace Shape Tape, might. Here's the big might with it. I have extremely dry skin, and my driest portions are underneath my eyes. This sets to a matte finish, a very matte finish. So I feel like I don't set it with just a light dust of powder, then it creases more. But when I do set it, I do feel like it gets a little crepey. Not major crepey, but like a little. Enough for me to notice, but very possibly not for other people to notice. So I'm still playing with it because I love the coverage, and I wore it, for instance, yesterday. We went to Knott's Berry Farm. We were there from 10 a.m. 10 p.m. Under eyes still looked fully covered. They just had gotten to that point where it looked a little crepey. So I need to play with this more because I would love for it to work fantastically, because it's $5, guys. Like, you can't beat the coverage and how beautiful this lays. I think if you have combination skin or oily skin, you will die for this. Like, E.L.F scored big time with this 16-hour Camo Camouflage Concealer. Their other one is like $3, this one is like $5. Splurge, spend the extra $2, it's amazing. Now, the E.L.F Flawless Finish Foundation. This is an oil-free satin finish foundation. All right, so what I will tell you about this supposed satin finish foundation is that it is very, very, very matte on me. Again, I do have very dry skin, so it is not a satin finish on me. It is literally very matte on me. I've played with it and I played with it and I played with it. I've tried it several times. The first time I put this on with a wet beauty blender, or like, you know, just semi-moist, and it was an actual beauty blender as well. It wasn't even a generic sponge, like it was a beauty blender, which you guys know is amazing. It would not work. Like, it was streaky, it was a disaster. Like, it took me, without exaggeration, like 15 minutes to get this to sit on my face right. Who wants to spend 15 minutes to make a foundation sit right on their face? Like, that's a lot of work. So, I'll be honest, like, the coverage, I do like it. It's a little bit too drying for me. The lasting power, it does last. I wore this to Knott's yesterday and it lasted all day. But every time I've worn it, my husband, one thing, he's like, ooh, it looks like you're wearing a lot of makeup. It sits on my face. Again, that could be my dry skin that's affecting it that way. I don't know, look for other opinions. This is one thing I will always say on my channel, always look for other opinions, because things that work for one person may not work for another, and so on and so on and so on. Like, I have some people that I do watch. I love them and I watch them for entertainment purposes because things that they have loved and I have tried have not worked for me. And I don't think they're lying and I don't think they're being paid. It's just different skin types. Things work differently. So please know that. All right, so that is my opinion on this E.L.F. foundation that I've tried during this year.
This is what happens when you're trying to like mesh two types of videos together. Alright,
Face. So this has been sitting in my room for a month or more. This is the LA Girl Pro Coverage High Definition Illuminating Foundation. So you know I read the word illuminating and I was like, yes, let's do this. So let me open this up and let's give it a shot. It is nude beige. I hope it is not too light. I hope it is my shade. I'm gonna shake this up. I don't know if you had to shake it, but I'll shake it. Pump didn't work. Pump. Oh, there it goes. Oh, okay. It's kind of liquidy. I always like to put it on my fingers first and kind of dot it on my face, and then I blend it out. Let's go back to this Juno sponge and just... From my viewfinder, it looks really good, but I can't really tell. I'll be honest. My eyes aren't that good. But this sponge is so soft. I love this sponge. Again, for the softness, I don't know how it's actually working with the foundation. We'll find that out in a second. I just realized I didn't even check if the foundation was my color. I just figured it would be close enough where I could either bronze or whatever, I'll make it work. Or bring it down my neck if needed. Okay, so it's just like a teensy bit too dark for me, but not that dark. Like, I think during summer this would work out great. As for the finish on it, I love it, but I love extremely dewy, glowy finishes. I know some people are like, I look sweaty, I don't like it. Not I. I love, love, love looking dewy, and I feel like my skin looks so much healthier when it looks dewy. Again, this could be a dry skin girl issue, and it is looking very dewy right now. I'm loving this finish. What I'm not loving, because I can already tell right away, it's gonna go into every single little small line. Like my smile lines, my little lines up here, like every line on my face, this foundation is gonna settle into them unless I powder, which I will powder very, very lightly. I am very textured right here and right here right now. That is not the foundation, that is not the sponge, that is, I'm using this product from Admire My Skin. It's their ultra potent brightening serum. If you've caught my last videos, you know I've been trying that out to take care of these dark spots on my face. And it's starting to make my skin right here very, very dry. It's starting to crack that skin a little bit. But according to reviews, that's kind of the process it goes through. It makes you kind of start shedding a layer of skin to get rid of those dark spots. So that is happening on my face right now. So I'm not gonna blame that on the foundation. Definitely not gonna blame that on the sponge. I think this sponge, honestly, is pretty fantastic. I'm going to powder this really quick to see if that helps some of the creasing areas, and then we'll move on. I just realized I have a powder that was given to me that I have never tried. This is the By Terry Hyaluronic Hydro Powder. The whole hyaluronic component, because that's good for dry skin. So I'm gonna just take this huge fluffy brush. I'm gonna put it on here, and I'm just gonna very lightly dust it on my face. Wow, okay, that powder is very comfortable as of right now. So the By Terry Hyaluronic Hydro Powder, this thing here, I like it. That is my first impression on it. We shall see as time goes on. BH Pro Total Coverage Concealer I picked up from BH Cosmetics when I did the online order. and I have tried it and it's too dark. Again, this is color 113. It does a good job at maybe like correcting concealing, but it is not a brightener because it's a little bit too dark. So there is no first impression on concealer today because I just don't have one, because I couldn't wait. I had to try the concealers. I was trying the E.L.F concealer and this concealer because I was like trying to see if I liked one better. And anyway, so there is no first impression on concealer today. But what I am gonna do is I'm gonna use this. I'm gonna mix it with my City Color corrector. I'm gonna correct, and then we're gonna put some concealer on. Since these are not first impressions, I'll be right back. Disaster has struck. This went downhill real fast. So put my concealer on, corrected, the whole thing. And then because I was so impressed with the By Terry powder, I thought, you know what? I'm gonna set my under eyes with it. I don't know if you guys could tell, but it is a disaster. It darkened my under eyes by like 5 tones. So now my under eyes look crepey and a weird orange color, and it is not good. It is one of those powders that under the eyes just completely change the color of the concealer underneath, and it looks awful.
I mean, it looks god awful. So, excuse me while I go wash my face and try this again.
All right, one last product that I have tried and I like it, but not for underneath the eyes, is this BH Cosmetic Studio Pro Matte Finish Powder. So this is the powder. It actually really reminds me of MAC packaging. And yeah, anyway, I like it. I've used it under the eyes a couple times and it doesn't do what the By Terry one did to me. But again, I've dusted it very, very, very lightly, but I thought I had dusted the By Terry lightly too, but clearly it just did not work. Really last quick update on things I have tried in 2016 thus far is I've also tried this E.L.F 24 karat gold highlighter, and I'll be honest, on the first time I tried it, I was like, I don't know. I don't really like it. Can you guys see that? But I've tried it over and over and over again, and it has grown on me like a lot. Like I kind of really like it now. So on that note, let me put it on. Whew. May have gone too heavy-handed on that other side. Oh. Do you guys see this craziness? I kind of love it. And then right down the center of my nose. I've been loving this highlighter. It is very like blam when you pile it on the way I just did. So I always wait till I set it with a setting spray and then just kind of pat it into my skin to make it look just a little more natural. But I do really like this E.L.F highlighter. So those are my thoughts on things I've tried in 2016 and my first impressions I did today. All right, guys, so I had to actually go run and do some things, and now I'm finishing this up. But on the upside, now I can kind of tell you a few things. One, the product I've been using for removing my dark spots has made my skin extremely dry, and I have been messing with my face like crazy. And I think that the By Terry powder made my foundation just oxidize more and more and more, and it was driving me insane. So I started rubbing on it, aside from the fact that my skin was really flaky and weird. So nothing on my face is sitting right, and I just don't feel like it's appropriate for me to judge a foundation on a day my skin is going crazy, or face products in general. So basically, we're gonna have to try that LA Girl foundation again, and I am gonna try it without the By Terry powder, and I'll try the By Terry powder some other time, again when my skin is back to normal. But I have a feeling it makes everything kind of change color a little bit, so I'm not loving that. So that powder may not work after all for me, which is kind of a bummer, but at least I can let you guys know right now. But we will give it another shot when my skin's back to normal. So for right now, let's finish this eye look. Okay, so first of all, this black shadow in the BH palette is extremely pigmented and extremely black, but it is a bit messy. So it kind of got darker and smokier than I had anticipated. So I'm trying to work with it. We will see how this works out in a second here. All right, guys, so I'm still zoomed in, clearly. I didn't realize it would still be zoomed in, but that's okay. So I want you guys to take a look at the final look on the eyes. I think it came out actually really pretty. This set could use a little bit more blending, but let's just admire the quality of these shadows. Like, I am very impressed. Let me zoom you out to a normal degree at this. So in recap, I know I had basically already mentioned this, but this Ultimate Matte, it's 42 color shadows, is amazing from BH Cosmetics. Like, I'll show it to you one more time. This thing is ginormous. And I really, really like it. As always, I love oranges and warms and mustards, and I couldn't help myself, and I went right for this area right here. But I cannot wait to try some of these purples and these blues, like in this blue here. If this is how pigmented these were, I bet you those are gonna be incredible. So I will definitely be playing with this palette more on camera. We'll be doing more looks with it, and that way you guys can really see the variety in this palette, because I honestly have very high hopes for the entire palette. They are all mattes, and thus far, every single matte I used today was incredible. I ended up adding some dark brown to the outskirts just to blend with the black, because the last step you guys saw was I went into this black color right here, and I basically just wanted to do like a smoky eye with it, like right along my lash line, and it was so pigmented and it had a ton of fallout. So I ended up having to turn the camera off just so I could focus and not destroy the rest of my face. Although, let's face it, my face is not doing so great right now anyway, but I really needed to focus and make sure that didn't fly everywhere. So I turned the camera off just so I could really get tight to the eyelashes and take off what I needed to take off before it destroyed more things. So it does have a lot of fallout, especially those dark colors, but they are so beautifully pigmented and like dark. So I don't have any black eyeliner on. All I have is that black shadow as eyeliner on a very precise, a precision brush, and it worked beautifully. So I'm thoroughly impressed with this palette. I highly recommend it. A Terry Hyaluronic Hydro Powder that, well, I changed my mind on that pretty darn fast. I will play with it some more when my skin is up for it, and same with the foundation, because I don't think today was fair to do face stuff. So we will try those again some other time. So the shadows are a yes, and the other thing that's an absolute yes, Juno sponge was a definite win. I absolutely loved the way this applied everything, and I used it several times as I was trying to like fix things, so it's absolutely a win. All right, guys, so there we have it. Thank you for being with me. Thank you for watching this first impression slash products I've been loving, liking, and maybe not so much liking of 2019 thus far. Remember to spread love, not hate. Mwah. Love you guys. Bye.